Hi, I'm Robert Osborne, and welcome to our film series we're calling Screened Out Gay Images in Film. And joining me is film historian and award-winning author Richard Barrios, who wrote this really interesting book on the subject called Screened Out, Playing Gay in Hollywood from Edison to Stonewall. Thanks for being here, Richard.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Good. Now, our festival has covered a number of specific film genres so far, and for the next several hours, we're going to take a look at gay images in fright films. And first we have a film from 1944 that's one of my all-time favorites, Paramount's The Uninvited, with Ray Milland, Gail Russell, Ruth Huzzy, and Cornelia Otis Skinner. Why is this movie in this festival?
Beside the fact that it's one of the screen's all-time best ghost stories.
Terrific, yes.
Yes. In the 1940s, there was this sort of new gay woman stereotype of sort of implacable gothic woman. And I saw The Uninvited, I said, well, you know, you can maybe read some of that into this if you want to, with the character Miss Holloway, played by Cornelia Otis Skinner. But it's very ambiguous. It's not one of those very, very cut and dry things. And when this movie was made and released in 1944, there was nothing, no quibbles about the content before it was released. But within weeks after it started playing in theaters, something really interesting happened. Large groups of sort of very distinctively dressed patrons, mostly women, would go to see this movie at off hours. Repeatedly, the same people were seen over and over going to these screenings, and these people had read into the movie that there was some sort of woman-on-woman love between Miss Holloway and Mary, and they were taking this from the movie, using it sort of as a cushion in their own lives, which were otherwise very closeted, and had sort of made this movie, of all things, a lesbian cult movie.
Interesting.
And
I think that's really a stretch. But
you don't always
that happened.
read about how specifically, you know, people reacted to these movies. But this is one case, as ambiguous as it may seem to most viewers, that where it really was taken and read that way by people who, for some reason, needed to see that.
Yeah, and obviously they weren't being given role models or anything in other films.
Of no kind.
Right.
So here was something that could be read by people who wanted to. The filmmakers didn't necessarily intend it, but the audiences, these particular special audiences, needed to see it.
But on any level, I'm all for anybody watching The Uninvited for any reason whatsoever.
And being scared by it.
Absolutely. Here's the movie from 1944 with Academy Award-nominated cinematography by Charles Lang and a beautiful music score by Victor Young, The Uninvited. Love that movie. And that beautiful theme song was by the great Victor Young, and later with lyrics added became the song standard Stella by Starlight. And I'm back with my special co-host for this evening, film historian and author Richard Barrios. Now, I don't read Miss Holloway as a lesbian at all. I just see her as a royal nutcase, but over the top a bit, no matter what.
Out of maybe even all the movies we're running in this series, this is the one where whatever there is that some audiences want to see is maybe the most subtle.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good for us to
Absolutely.
program it because of the documented reaction that certain people had to this movie. And it's sort of a make of it what you will.
Right. You had mentioned about the Legion of Decency getting a few flags about this movie, about some people thinking there maybe was a lesbian element to it, but they got more flags about the seances.
Well, the Legion of Decency was a Roman Catholic organization and often operated in conjunction with the production code, which was, of course, a branch of the motion picture industry and sort of funded by them. But the Legion of Decency was the Roman Catholic group, and there was a bit of annoyance with the filmmakers for the extent to which this movie seemed to rely on the idea of seances, which for a religious organization would not be seen necessarily as a thing that would be respectful to spirituality and faith. Right. Let's face it, The Uninvited is, you know, if not the best, one of the best ghost stories in movie history. And if you have a ghost story, generally a seance is going to be part of it. But I think sometimes the moral watchdogs really had to kind of nose around really, really hard to find something. I mean, you know, sometimes when you don't find something in one area, you look for it in another. And if you want to make a big deal out of something, it'll be there for you too.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they didn't mess with the movie as far as cutting it or anything, so we have The Uninvited as the filmmakers intended for it to be.